Hi everyone, this is Braden here. Just a little bit earlier to give you a quick update on why exactly my voice is going to sound a little bit different during this next episode. Well, long story short, I was trying out a new recording setup using my laptop instead of my regular computer. I ended up accidentally jostling my studio mic, which you hear right now, which unplugged it enough so that the recording used my 11-year-old laptop's built-in microphone. So, as a result, the recording from my side won't sound quite as great. So I'm going to sound a little bit tinny this episode. This was still an amazing episode to record. Nathan was a fantastic guest, and I hope you enjoy it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Explainer Nation. I'm going to give it a try, see if it sticks. I would say welcome to What No You Explain. This is, well, shall we say, a little bit more of the freewheeling, more belligerent, more cursy version of What Explain, in which I actually talk to other people. It's strange for a pandemic project, but by God, I'll manage somehow. My guest tonight is writer, musician, podcaster, and a freelance artist based in Calgary, and most of all, a hater of all things water level related in video games. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you Nathan Iles.
I don't think you hit the water level bit hard enough, my man.
Hold on. Give me a second.
Yeah.
And hater of all things water level in video games.
Your voice just, I don't know how you did it. Your voice just bolded. That was pretty insane.
Hold on. One more time. Let's see if I can get this done. And a hater of all things water level in video games.
Yes.
There we are. Let's get absolute. There we go. Let's get down deep in this. All right. So how are you doing today, Nathan?
I'm a lot better now that I'm on a camera with you across this great country of ours. So hell yeah, my man. I'm stoked. Thanks for having me. I love your show.
You're very kind. Thank you very much. I love yours, and we will go into great detail about how great both of our shows are in relatively. Let's do it now. Nathan, you want to talk? I was just going to say, Nathan, do you want to talk about, well, for all intents and purposes, let's start with the thing we have in common, podcasts. Incredibly intense, research-intensive podcasts that sometimes we wonder, oh God, who's making us do this? Oh, it's us.
Oh, it's us. Yeah, great. I give myself homework. It's lovely.
Yep, we get to research. I was just going to say, we get to deep dive into these particular research. It's just like school, but it's what we give us.
Well, we have two things in common. We have research-heavy podcasts, and we have, many years ago, community-level theater companies.
Yes, we do. That's true. Yeah. And it's even the same community-level theater company to boot.
I know. I actually recently just left them, but yeah, it's... And I met you. You were doing a show that an ex-girlfriend of mine was stage managing.
Oh, God, yes. I was just going to say the Doctor Who. Yes. Because Calgary is truly the world's biggest small town.
I know. And I went to that show to support my then girlfriend, and I'm going to be honest, I have no fucking idea about anything with Doctor Who.
That's entirely fair. That is entirely fair.
But I was like, who's this hilarious young man? And it was Mr. Braden Thorvaldsen. So Thorvaldsen, how do I say it?
Oh, Thorvaldsen. I would say, really, I will respond to anything about it because I kid you not, it really, once you get to the first two, you get a lot of confidence through the first syllable, like Thor. And then you slowly lose momentum afterwards.
Yeah, it's a powerful name. It's got some grit to it.
Oh yeah, no, you start out strong and then you just fall down some stairs. So, do you want to talk about Last Gen Arcade for a little bit? I was just going to say the greatest deep dive video game podcast that I'm listening to currently.
Oh my goodness, you're a sweetheart. Thanks. Yeah, Last Gen Arcade, it's my podcast. Myself and my co-host Will Cowan. We deep dive through history's greatest video games. Nothing newer than the 7th gen, which is the Xbox 360, PS3, Wii era. And we answer your age-old question: do the games hold up? So we usually do a series. We do a first half where I do like a deep dive on the research of the developments of the game and everything. And then we do a second episode where we actually play the fucking thing and see how it holds up today. And we usually get drunk and make lots of foul jokes while we're doing it. So it's a lot of fun. We're on a network called the Chaps Network. You can find Will's other show called Chapter by Chapter, where they talk about books every goddamn day of the year. And
even on Christmas? Even on Christmas?
Even on Christmas.
Oh my God.
Man. Actually, we do a Christmas network special that's pretty fun.
Okay.
like all of us that are involved. My wife and I are low key working on a movie podcast as well, but I'm not going to announce that yet.
Yep, that's fair. I was going to say we can keep that on the down low.
Yeah. We're trying to build a cool like network. We're really inspired by the Last Podcast Network, like the Last Podcast and the Left guys, and they have kind of a stable of like fun, comedic but research heavy podcasts, which I like a lot. So we're kind of trying to do that because we're based here in Western Canada, in Calgary and Alberta. So kind of trying to like do that here because there is, believe it or not, like a pretty huge. I mean, we have Western Canada's largest comic expo, I think it's called, or something.
Yep. Oh yeah. No, I was going to say I've spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars at that show, Nathan.
What I'm trying to say is we got fucking nerds here. Okay, we got nerds out the pants up here in Calgary. So I want all their money.
Oh God, I was just saying they are not just nerds; they are wealthy nerds. This is oil and gas nerds.
Calgary Expo is wild because you pay money to go in the room and pay more money, like buy more stuff.
Oh, absolutely. And listen, I say this as somebody who's literally going to the Ottawa Comic Expo next week. I'll do it again. Do it again.
I haven't been as a guest in a while, but I kind of want to, like, I have like reconnected. I mean, we've talked about this offline and with my love of graphic novels in recent years. So I'm drinking a beer. So if you just heard me burp, that's why.
Oh no, please. Believe me, I'm also imbibing in a wheat smoothie.
What do you got there? What are you drinking?
I was just going to say right now, this is a Pride special lager called Fruity AF. It is a citrus light lager because that's who I am as a person.
That sounds delicious.
Bring me your weird beers. What do you got, Nathan?
I'm drinking a beer from one of my favorite breweries here in Calgary called The Establishment, and it's called My Best Friend's Girl, and it's a Kolsch-style German ale, and it's just very light and very tasty.
That is a solid name for a beer.
Yeah, it's and like I live in this new house. I live like walking distance from all these breweries, which is like
that's
not
dangerous.
So good for my waistline.
That's dangerous. See, I live literally as far south in Ottawa as it is humanly possible to get. So on one side, you can look up and see the stars any day of the year. On the other hand, fuck all else. Fuck all else. That is the joy and the sadness of outer city living.
Amazing. And the joy of podcasting.
Oh,
which we are here doing.
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing me back on board. Nathan, I was just going to say, because we could chat all day, but I think that would actually give Craig, my audio guy, a bit of an aneurysm trying to sync us both up. So, Nathan, I would say I like to exchange stories on these sort of things. You got something in general you want to share?
Yeah, my man. I got a doozy for you.
All right.
I'm going to warn the listener right now. It's video game related. I do a video game podcast. We're doing a little thing called cross-promotional transmedia transfusion. I don't know what you want to call it here. But
I was just going to say some cross-pollination. A little bit of embedded advertising in between. I'm here for this.
But please don't turn the show. I swear to God, it's even if you don't play video games, you're going to like this. So
No, I would say, believe me, we'll go down this rabbit hole. Come on now. Show me what you got.
All right. So anyone who's as old as me and, is old enough to find World War II as interesting as I do. I don't know if that dates me or not. Don't try and guess my age, please. That's going to really depress me. But if you're that old, then you probably remember when video games used to come in cartridges, right? Like everything's digital now or discs, right? And I'm not talking like those cute SD cartridges like Nintendo Switch has, the little...
Oh, yeah, the ones you need to take out and blow dust out of.
Dude, the kind that if you hurl them at a friend, you're going to cause a fracture,
Oh, like the murder weapons. Oh, the murder weapons.
And yeah, you pull them out of your console and you blow them, it's wild. Those little SD cartridges, have you ever this is going to sound weird. You ever tasted one? You ever put your tongue on it?
I'm actually genuinely racking my brain. I feel sometime in the early pandemic, I might have tried. Honest to God, kind of like in May 2020, it's just like, okay, I can't see anyone. Yeah, let's lick it.
Yeah, and they're awful because they don't want dogs swallowing them. So, but these they make them taste gross.
Okay, fair enough.
So that kids and dogs don't eat them because they're stupid.
Okay, I was just gonna say they're kind of in that old Ranger story of just like, there's a very, very thin line between the dumbest camper and the smartest bear. So, yeah.
Yep. But yeah, video games used to come in big ass cartridges, right? And these cartridges were very, very tough. Like you couldn't break them. I had a friend who had a copy of a game called Conker's Bad Fur Day on Nintendo 64, and his dad ran over it with a fucking lawnmower, and he could still play that thing, right? Like these cartridges, you could drop them off a bridge, you could throw them in the water, like you could not break them, which is I kind of miss that.
Oh God, it's fantastic. That would be fantastic as somebody who's had to bring a lot of games back to EB Games, now GameStop. Just with a little scratch.
I miss more tactile. The better electronics get, the more fragile it gets. You know,
Yep.
I remember when remember flip phones, right?
Oh yeah,
you had to try to break those things.
Yeah, it is an effort, not just you drop it on the phone and all of a sudden something's up.
Yeah. But yeah, so these cartridges would be mangled and they'd still work. So what my mom and I used to do when I was a kid, because we were broke, and she was a single mom raising me, and Mom, if you're listening, I love you so much. But we used to go to garage sales and we used to find these mangled, battered video game cartridges, and we'd buy them for pennies. Because this is before video games were like a thing, and that everyone played. This is back when losers.
I was just gonna say the nerds, the outcasts. Yep, no, absolutely.
Yeah, man. Kind of hard to remember, but there used to be a time when everyone's probably got a grandma that still calls every video game the Nintendo, right?
I think, I was just going to say, distinct possibility on my end.
Yeah. But we're thrifty. So we go to these garage sales, find these mangled cartridges, buy them for pennies. And I got tons of games. I had this copy of GoldenEye, another game on Nintendo 64, and I had all the cheats. You couldn't even see the cover. It was amazing. So one time I scored a battered copy of one of my favorite video games of all time, The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, which I got a giant Majora's Mask tattoo on my back. It's a very important thing for me.
Okay.
It was a gold cartridge. The paint was all flecked in the cartridge. The front was super damaged, but it was clearly the game. It said Majora on it somewhere. That's what I remember. And this is 2001, I think. So I'm 9 years old.
So I was just saying, we're going out of the way of don't guess my age now. We're just immediately just a little bit of, we're just going to, we've just changed that to rudimentary subtraction.
I'm not almost 30. Don't do that math. Don't do that math. Yeah, I'm not almost 30 on a podcast talking about video games. Anyways. I was super stoked because I played Ocarina of Time, the previous game, a ton. I was dying to play Majora's Mask. I was stoked to finally have it. I didn't care it was all fucked up. I got it home, plugged into my Nintendo 64, and as soon as I started, they had old save files, right? The previous owner had played it, and they were still left over. So I loaded one up, and immediately there's glitches. It's slowing down. It's crashing my console. It's all jinkety janked. It's not working. It kind of was a little unsettling. That was kind of my first ever interaction with a non-functional video game, I gave the cartridge to my mom. My little 9-year-old brain thought she'd return it to whoever she got it. That year, my mom got me a brand new copy of the game. So, problem solved.
Well done, Nathan's mom.
And that's the show. Thanks for coming to What Explain. And
all right, time to roll credits. We're time to go. See you later, guys.
Yeah. So, fast forward with me 10 years. I'm 19 years old. I'm right out of high school now. I'm 19. I'm terminally online. I'm a scumbag. I'm fresh out of high school. I'm looking for the creepiest, edgiest content you can find online. Can you guess what website this leads me to, Braden?
Oh, I was just saying, does it start with a number and end with a particularly theoretical last name? All right,
my man, you got it.
Yeah.
I wound up on 4chan. As a wise man once said, it was a wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Yep. I feel I've heard that somewhere before.
Yeah. It's basically 4chan and rotten.com. I was messed up. I was out of ice. I was just fuck up my brain, please, computer. Let's do it.
Show me something awful. Show me something awful. Come on, man.
And so I'm on 4chan and I stumble onto something unsettling. And I guess for the listener who, has a life and is not terminally online, 4chan was a message board from the early 2000s that was unmoderated at all. There was no content filter whatsoever. So you'd regularly find gore pictures or crime scene photos, or, I think there's a lot of child pornography on there. It's just a really nasty website.
All right.
I never should have been on there at my age, but I was.
Yep, that's you. I would say it's a thing you gravitate towards the horrifying things.
Yeah. And I'm on 4chan and I stumble onto something kind of unsettling. There's a board on there called /x/ and it was kind of a general message board. And there's a user on there called Jeducible. and he's posting a really long form series of posts detailing his experience buying a malfunctioning copy of Majora's Mask. And I'm kind of like, this is like ringing an old bell for me, right? He got the cartridge from an off-putting old man at a garage sale. I'm reading this. I'm trying to remember who did we buy that game off of? Was it an old man? Was it a mom? Like I can't remember. It's all kind of clouded.
It was 10 years ago. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and high school happened, and was drinking 40 ounces for breakfast. You know, that was the whole thing.
All that stuff.
And yeah, Juducible brings the game home, and he loads a file because again, previous users played the game. He loads up a file called Ben. And he encounters a ton of creepy glitches, which includes Link, who's the main playable character. If you haven't played Zelda, that's the dude you play as. He's a little elf boy. One of the glitches has him drowning in a pond. His console crashes at one point. Music's playing backwards. It's just really unsettling stuff. And I'm reading all this, and it's really familiar to me. It's like ringing a lot of bells, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He includes video in his posts, and I watch them. Like they kind of break up. Like he did a screen capture thing, and it's really, really creepy distortions to the game. Link bursts into flames at one point.
Oh,
Link just lying dead on the ground. At one point, Link like breaks the fourth wall and turns around and looks at the camera.
Oh God,
just staring at you. Yeah. There's a part in the game where you play a little flute and a little statue appears. That thing is appearing, and it's like a dead-eyed version of Link, and it's like following him around the main area of the game.
Oh God.
And as he's writing about this, Juducible is also talking about how, and he's asking for help. That's why he's posting on this message board, right? He's having nightmares. He can't, and when he's not having nightmares, he can't sleep. He's I think he was a university student, right? And he's in his dorm room, and he's really struggling with this. I'm reading this, and I'm feeling shivers up my spine at this point. You know what I mean? It's just really familiar to me. I can't quite remember. Like, I know that I had a malfunctioning copy of Majora's Mask as well, but I didn't remember if it was the same experience, but it's all ringing a really familiar chord with me, right? It all culminates in this line spoken by a character in the game, which, you know, just in the game is kind of a throwaway, but in light of all this, it's really creepy. The happy mask salesman says, "You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you?"
Oh,
right? So, Juducible attempts to return the cartridge to the old man. This is in a second post. He was like, "I'm logging off. I'm going to go try and get some sleep. I'll update later." He updates. He tries to bring the cartridge back to the old man. The house is empty. The guy's gone. And he finds a neighbor mowing his lawn, and he asks about the guy. He goes, "Yeah, he moved away a couple days ago." He asked him some questions, and finally he asked the neighbor who Ben was. Just as a Ben was the name of the file he loaded, right? And he discovers something horrifying. Ben was a little boy who lived on the block and drowned about 5 years prior. The drowning imagery from the game, "You've met with a terrible fate," the Ben file, it all comes together. The video game where cartridge was haunted by the spirit of a dead child, and I may have owned it.
What? Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah, dude. Pretty spooky, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, holy shit. I was just saying, I think this is our first first person thing on this, and that's, oh my God. Mate,
well, you asked for something with a personal connection.
No, absolutely.
I thought of, right?
No, I said, holy shit.
It's scary, right? I'm like consumed by this story. I'm on my laptop. I'm 19. He's updating it live, right? And I can't put it down. And for a few days, I genuinely thought I had encountered something supernatural. Because again, I had this connection with it, right? And, dear listener, you got to understand, this was kind of a more, I guess, gullible time for internet goers, you know? You're probably saying to yourself, "Nathan, this is pretty clearly like a creepypasta or something," right? Creepypasta, of course, that's a horror story written online, right? You got your Slender Man, your Marble Hornets. You're
supposed to look. I would say it seems incredibly real, but in fact is fake.
Yeah, but I don't know. I gotta give this one more credits. Ben drowned. We're gonna call it. Spoiler: it is a creepypasta.
Oh.
But it's a really cool one. There's a really cool story behind it. That's why I wanted to talk to you about it. So Juducible is actually like a media guy named Alexander D. Hall, and Ben Drowned is his like magnum opus, basically. And it continues to this day. There's still chapters being updated with it right now.
Wow.
His goal was to use like a transmedia approach of using video, online like message boards, interaction with the audience, and really good writing to immerse you in this story and create kind of a modern folktale almost. You know what I mean?
No, that is incredible. Like that is genuinely like
yeah. And there's two like kind of brilliant touches. One, for people of my age bracket or older, you know, it touches, like I was saying, it touches on something very, very relatable. The game that's like not working, and it's kind of off-putting because things aren't quite right, you know? So I had this connection with it, and I'm sure lots of other people had it. And then he even, at the very end of the first arc of it, he writes this twist into the story that Ben has actually escaped the cartridge and is in his computer, and he's the one that's been telling the whole story and is like in the servers now, you know?
Oh, shit.
And he's manipulating footage and whatnot, right? And it's just this elaborate alternate reality storytelling project. And it's amazing. So here's the end. Here's the end game here. All right. Is this just an elaborate project by Alexander Hall using altered gameplay footage and engaging writing to create a very compelling creepypasta? Probably, right?
Distinct possibility. It's within the realm of possible.
Was my copy of Majora's Mask completely unrelated to this one? Almost definitely. I'm in Canada. This dude's in the States. There's probably no chance. We probably just had independently fucked up copies, but still, who knows? But here's the real question. Is Ben actually haunting all of our online servers right now and making us all think this is a fake story? Is this a genuine ghost in the machine? Maybe.
Oh.
And that is the story of Ben Drowned, the haunted Majora's Mask cartridge.
Oh, listen, I'm just going to say, I will give you the applause for that. Cause believe me, you took me with it just for that split second, just when you're halfway through that story, just sort of explaining just like the parallels between them. It's like, oh God, you've been dead for 10 years, haven't you?
Right.
I was just going to say our entire friendship is just me talking to just like the propped up corpse of Nathan Iles.
Well, as an artist, that's the thing. I could be Ben having this podcast with you. Right? Maybe here's the thing. I have some spooky, ooky, some would say laughable spiritual beliefs about the collective unconsciousness and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm totally fine. People laugh at me for it, and that's cool. I get it. Most people have a more grounded, realistic, some would say cynical approach to like living. And I get it. I totally get it. The world's a very depressing place, and that puts us in that mindset. But it's like, if you have even remotely like a slightly more elevated idea of what, you know, reality can be, then something like this is, if not real, brilliant storytelling. You know what I mean? Like it's just, and it's very modern storytelling. Mm-hmm. It uses, like I said, like the format of like immersing you in the story in like it's almost like found footage, but you know, on 4chan.
Yep. Right? It's found footage for, I mean, the modern age seems a little bit trite, but like, yeah, no, absolutely. Like it gives you enough that you're just sort of feeling like, oh, I'm putting these pieces together independently. It's all sort of like, okay, putting it all together, just, oh, holy shit.
Yeah. And like I said, it continues to say, if you Google Ben Drowned right now, first link, click it. You can read you can go through the actual story. Like I said, there's like 3 arcs now. He expanded the whole thing into there's the beer. He expanded the whole thing into it's an ongoing narrative in like another Earth, essentially. But again, who knows? Maybe you'll click that link and Ben's in your computer. Ooh.
Well, I would just say, now that we've collectively haunted each other's podcasts, so we have that now.
Yeah, we're in the servers now.
I was just going to say, it's in Zencaster. It's in whatever assets we use. It's in the RSS feeds. Oh, God, but that was incredible, Nathan. Thank you so much for bringing that.
Yeah, thanks for humoring me. I just think it's very cool. And I again, maybe you need more of an investment in video games, I guess, to really partake in this story. But I genuinely think it's if nothing else, just a very admirable piece of art and a very modern one, you know?
Oh no, absolutely. Believe me, I love a big swing when it comes to art. I would say, like, I dislike something that just like plays it safe and just like, okay, this is fine. I have made a paycheck. This is going to sell well. There's like, no, I like a big swing.
Absolutely. Hell yeah. Me too. I like a big swig too, which I'm going to do right now.
Absolutely. Do it up, please. Go ham. I won't lie to you. My story is going to be an enormous tone breaker. And for that, I'm really sorry.
No, it's good. It's good.
I won't lie to you. This is going to be the single, I think, most juvenile one that I tried. I tried so hard, Nathan, to put this into an episode. I couldn't.
Now you're dumping it on my head. I love that.
Yes, absolutely. You're here. I'm going to dump this at your feet. All right, so I'm bringing you the story of what could be defined as the most unusual relic of its type, one that has been claimed to have been owned by no less than 18 churches at one time, whose effects can be traced not only across centuries, but millennia, who the Roman Catholic Church has threatened with excommunication anyone who dares bring it up again. May I present to you the story of the Holy Prepuce, or the Holy Foreskin of Christ.
Awesome. I think I had a cocktail with this in it recently.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you've had the Holy Foreskin of Christ cocktail too.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's somewhere in Yukon. You can just get it put in a shot glass. You're not allowed to chew it though, because then that's a biohazard. But just touch your lips to it. It's fine.
Yeah, you got to pay extra for that usually. But
yeah, usually. But all right. So, as seems to be weirdly uncommon knowledge, Jesus of Nazareth was in fact a Jewish man. As such, his foreskin was removed on the 8th day after his birth. According to the Arabic...
I mean, are you telling me Jesus wasn't a white Italian man with beautiful long brown hair?
Surprisingly enough, no. Probably Middle Eastern. Maybe magnificently brown hair. We don't know. Well, maybe we don't.
Anyway. A short carpenter Jew from the Nazareth area wasn't a white dude?
Nope. Astonishingly, again, I'm bringing this to you potentially as an exclusive take. Nope.
Very weird.
But according to the Arabic Infancy Gospel, which is a series of writings on the early life of Jesus, which has basically been established by the Roman Catholic Church to basically be ancient fanfic, an old Hebrew woman took the foreskin, put it in a box of preserving fluid, and gave it to her son, who she told not to sell it, even if somebody offers him 300 pieces of silver. Which, again, seems an incredibly low bar. I was just going to say...
She put a price on the foreskin of fucking Jesus.
No, to not sell it. I would say 301. 301 maybe, but 300 absolutely not. And again, Nathan, we've all had, like, our parents, like, give us errands, et cetera, and so forth. I would say go to the store, et cetera, and so forth.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Periodically, it's just, hold on to this. Don't sell it. Which I guess... it's a low bar for her kid, but I guess he succeeded. But again, considering what Jesus' first 7 days on this planet were like, I guess it's kind of potential to be mentioned that, hey, don't sell this. So, we have the preserved foreskin of a Messiah in place sometime around 0 AD, and then absolutely nothing for a solid 800 years. Then, Charlemagne, the first Holy Roman Emperor, gave it to Pope Leo III in 800 AD while Charlemagne was being crowned emperor. When he was asked where exactly he got, the foreskin of Jesus Christ, Charlemagne claimed that it had been brought to him by an angel while he prayed at a temple in Jerusalem as a reward for his, piety, as you do. However, other reports that were not coming from, the Holy Roman Emperor said that the box came from Greek Empress Irene as a wedding gift. So, to conclude, Charlemagne re-gifted a wedding present to the Pope, which turned out to be Jesus' foreskin.
Amazing.
Nathan,
I'm not going to elaborate. I'm a little speechless right now.
Oh no! There's
so many questions. But
Believe me, there's
continue.
More. There's more. All right. So again, given that most of European history from about 800 to present can greatly be summarized as, hey, that's a cool thing you've got. I want a cool thing too. And combined with the fact that the foreskin was a relic of a very significant member of Christianity, or a very significant member of Christianity's member, if you'll excuse the pun, there were over 30 different churches throughout Europe that claimed to have the foreskin of Christ in their possession.
I mean, buddy, if you just leave a banana peel on the table for too long, you're good. You got a foreskin. Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt. It could even be foreskins. Like, there were still circumcisions happening. It could have just been a foreskin.
Yeah.
Each and every one of these churches claimed that Mary, Mother of Jesus, gave the foreskin to Mary Magdalene, I would say a forgiven prostitute, who in some way managed to get to any of these churches. That's by and large the entire reason of this.
See, now I feel like if you in modern days, I feel like if you engaged in the services of a sex worker, that's totally fine. If that's how you want to spend your money, that's cool. I feel like if you offered them a tip and you gave them literally the tip of your penis, I don't think they'd appreciate that. I don't know, man. Like,
I think if something falls off, if something off your genitals falls off, you are told to leave. I would imagine.
There's an awful joke I could make about leprosy right now, but I won't.
Yeah,
I'll show restraint. I'll show restraint on this show.
That's appreciated. I was just going to say this is explicit for leprosy jokes, cursing, and, mild blasphemy.
This is what happens when you have Nathan Iles on your show, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep, that's entirely fair. I was just going to say, so long as there's no thunderclouds appearing above your house. No?
Well, I'm in my creepy basement right now.
Okay, so you're safe. You're safe. This is all on Jeff. That's fair. All right. So again, many of these churches, the 31 churches that claim to have the foreskin of Christ, have the realization that with the prevalence of these holy foreskins, to quote the movie Highlander, there can be only one. So they jockeyed for favor with the Pope of the Roman Catholic Church to make sure that their artifact is the one that was confirmed as the genuine one. So you have to imagine that these just like various churches throughout Western Europe are probably just aggressively petitioning the Pope with just, you need to pick one. You need to pick one. Come on, man. I'll give you gold. I'll give you gold. I'll give you silver. Just say this. Our foreskin's the right foreskin. This is all we need. Our foreskin's the right foreskin. And again, just the whole, given the subject matter, the Roman Catholic Church became more and more reticent to talk about or confirm any relics that were related to the holy foreskin until 1900, when they directly banned talking about or writing about the holy foreskin.
You know what, though? That's a long goddamn time to wait to make that rule, okay?
Absolutely.
Holy shit.
I mean, just beyond a certain point, also probably the preservation methods of any of these.
Picture the Pope. Enough of the foreskins. Just enough. I'm over it. Sounds like George Costanza in the coffee diner, like we've had enough. 1900 though, that's so many years of foreskin adventures before we
over a millennia of when the first foreskin came into play to when the Roman Catholic Church like, nope, enough. Nope. I gotta imagine like probably at least some of the preservation methods on these false foreskins, they probably weren't up to snuff, so the amount of them probably decreased over time, is my guess.
Oh, God, I hope they have a jar of pickle juice at least or something, man. Like,
they upped the punishment in 1954 when a monk wanted to include Calcutta, Italy, one of the assumed resting places of the foreskin of Christ. Now, anyone mentioning the holy foreskin would not only be excommunicated, but would also be considered, quote, infamous and to be avoided.
Okay.
So yeah, just again, you don't necessarily want to aggravate your bosses, especially when your boss is the boss of bosses.
And let's get rid of these fucking weirdos who won't stop talking about foreskins.
Yep.
Because otherwise they're going to record podcasts about it, and then what are we going to do?
It's probably fine. It's probably going to be fine. Oh, that is a rain cloud. That's fun. Anyways, over time, the vast majority of the foreskin relics vanished into history, and as of 1983, there was only one claimant remaining. Calcutta, Italy, a small town 30 miles north of Rome. So, every year on January 1st, there was a procession honoring this relic as the box carrying the foreskin was marched through town. Just New Year's Day, you're a little bit hungover, you take part in the foreskin procession.
Hey, you want to go to the foreskin parade? Let's get out. Happy New Year, man. Let's fucking do it.
Yep, absolutely. I would say you are either incredibly hungover or just still drunk from the night before. Follow that foreskin.
I love how my Italian voice sounds like a guy who runs a deli in New York City.
Yeah, I was just going to say I didn't necessarily want to give you acting notes, but you may be in the wrong continent, my friend. You may be slick.
This is why I direct and I write.
There we go. I was just saying, you're the power behind the scenes. You're the power behind the scenes. I understand. I
don't do the acting so much anymore. No, but hey, let's go to the foreskin parade, huh?
Absolutely. Let's go to the foreskin parade. Absolutely. We are Italian people. However, go.
There's somewhere in there you could, I don't know, man. Like, I have a joke half formed in my head right now about like Genoa salami and it looking like a penis foreskin, but now I'm just derailing the show. So I just
listen.
So sorry.
Listen, we went immediately from creepypasta to foreskins. So
amazing.
I'm just gonna say we are basically just rail sliding right now. there are 4 wheels on just like 6 different rails somehow.
This is either going to be like your most downloaded episode or your least downloaded episd of all time.
You know what? You're right. You know what? You're right. I'm just going to say there's a distance between the two. I won't lie to you. Oh, all right. So, however, in 1983, the Foreskin Parade was canceled as the parish priest announced that, quote, sacrilegious thieves have taken it from his home because he kept it in his house. I assume came back from a day at the parish, took his hat off, put it on there. On a coat rack, I'm assuming, not probably on the holy foreskin. I'm guessing.
I don't want to know what this creepy fucking priest was doing with the foreskin in his house. I have no desire to know whatever happens in the clothes.
I can't stop wondering, like, why is it in his house? Anyways, that foreskin has apparently vanished from history, and not one, but 2 different documentaries had failed to find proof of any remaining example of the foreskin of Christ. Just another example of history being snipped short.
Wow. Were you planning that? Was that planned?
Nathan, I won't lie to you. I wrote that last sentence. I saved. I turned off the computer. I went and poured myself a drink. That is how pleased I was with that.
In the name of the foreskin and the sun, and the Holy Ghost. You know, is that it? Is that the story?
No, that's the story. That's the story. I would say we do. In fact, I was just going to say, if you are amenable, we do have a couple rounds of 2 truths and a lie, where I get to test your bullshit detector.
Totally. No, I just
please,
first of all,
ask questions. My God.
I'm honored that you thought of me for the foreskin story. This reminds me a lot of the chronicles of Rasputin's penis after his assassination in 1914 or 15, I think it was. Mm-hmm. Have you ever dived down that hole?
A very similar one in that I do have a Valentine's Day special about Napoleon's penis.
There you go. Yeah, it's weird. Like, I don't know, fascination around the genitalia, the preserved genitalia of these people. I mean, it persists to this day. A very famous old groupie of rock stars passed away recently, and her whole thing was she took plaster casts of all the rock stars like members that she slept with, and she had a museum. So you could go see Jimi Hendrix penis. You could go see, it was a lot of them. There's a lot. She slept with a lot of cool rock stars.
I mean, at a certain point, I think probably just like cool. Like, is that sort of great? Now I have questions about that. I was just gonna say, is that just like, okay, I need you to stay very still. I'm just going to work some clay around here, like real quick. It's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. It'll come out great.
Who knows? But it's interesting. I mean, you mentioned in your story piety and just, like the perceived piety around this organ that a lot of your fundamentalist religious folks would like to pretend doesn't exist. You know what I mean?
Oh, no. So, and the whole thing was like, this is the only, I would say, according to like the power that it has, is that it is the only remaining part of Christ left on the planet. I was just going to say he ascended to heaven. This is the only part of him left. This is not the Holy Grail, but the Holy Grail.
So where do you think it wound up? What's your bet?
You know what? I won't lie to you. It's probably somewhere in an insane collector's house right now.
Yeah.
Like, not even a question. I would say somebody was paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to break into that priest's house, steal the foreskin, and it is now currently on probably a plinth, I'd assume a plinth, and just behind 3 locked doors. That is my guess.
That's a good guess. My guess is that fucking weirdo had in his house, like, got drunk one night and, like, accidentally shredded it and put it in his salad or something as croutons, and now it's gone forever. And that's the bottom line, as per me.
Yeah, no, you know what? Who's to say? We are to say.
Yeah,
we're talking now. This is now the 2 most active theories on board here.
Hell yeah. All right, hit me with your bullshit.
All right, Nathan, what you're about to experience now is 2/3 painstakingly researched things that I just couldn't turn into a fucking episode. Because I have a lot of weird facts, and just not a lot of them turn into, 3,000 words. They just don't.
I mean this with so much affection. It's like the audio version of those toilet readers. Remember those Uncle John's toilet readers? Yeah, man.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that. I like that. I solidly appreciate it.
Because there's so many weird, facts to annoy people with the parties with in those toilet readers. And,
you're not wrong.
Your show, coincidentally, same thing.
I won't lie to you. It's my shit. I would say my shit was basically, I don't know, 60% Lore by Aaron Mankey and 40% Uncle John's Bathroom Reader. That is
Amazing.
where this is where this comes into. This is probably a lot more Uncle John's Bathroom Reader than Lore.
Last Gen Arcade is like 50% angry video game nerd, 50% last podcast on left. So,
oh hey, I'm here for it. I am here for it. Again, we will talk about your rather precarious position as what could be argued as a national expert on Duke Nukem Forever.
Oh no. Yeah.
I listen to your show. But first, Nathan, you get to choose your first flavor of artisanal bullshit. Do you want to go with nature, inventions, or one very impressive Danish man?
One very impressive Danish man.
All right, this is actually going to be a 2-point bonus because, again, we put points in here. And, I could not choose only 2 truths about this man. So this is more of a 3 truths and a lie.
Cool.
All right. Lorenz Peter Alfred Freuchen was a Danish explorer, author, journalist, and anthropologist who packed a ridiculous amount of life into his 71 years. He was born in 1886 in Denmark and died in 1957 in Anchorage, Alaska. I'm going to read to you 4 things that he may have done in his life, and you tell me which one I have entirely made up.
All right. Hit me.
All right. Statement the first. 2 of his books were the basis of an Academy Award-winning movie, Der Eskimo and Die Flucht in Weissland, pardon my German, were used as primary text in writing a film called Eskimo, released in 1933 to critical acclaim. Freuchen was brought on initially as a consultant for the filmmakers, but ended up with a small role as the ship's captain in the film. The film ended up winning an Oscar for Best Film Editing. All right, I would say I'll give you all 4, so then you get to pick your bullshit.
All right.
I'm not going to make you pick them one at a time. I wouldn't do that to you. Number 2, he was an ardent socialist and anti-fascist and was very active in the Danish resistance against occupation by Nazi Germany. He openly claimed to be Jewish whenever he witnessed anti-Semitism, and this often led to many fights, as you know, if you yell at a Nazi that you're Jewish. He ended up being imprisoned by the Nazis and sentenced to death, but managed to escape a concentration camp and flee to Sweden.
So what you're telling me is this guy's incredibly fucking based.
Oh, without a doubt. He is incredibly based. He is a pH of 14. That is how based he is. Thank you. I would just say that is a joke for, I think, maybe 3 people. That is a joke for 3 people.
That was quick. That was
Thank you.
Your listener, we didn't even plan that. We didn't even have an outline we're working off of. We have 2 separate outlines we're working off of.
Absolutely. I was just going to say we exchanged pleasantries and then we started recording.
Amazing. All right.
Statement the third. Freuchen was a staunch anti-royalist and anti-missionary conversionist.
Still based.
I would say, and again, missionary as in the church ones, not the sexual position. Anyways, he believed that missionaries had no business attempting to convert the Inuit people of Greenland without even taking the time to know their beliefs. His comments as such hit a nerve with the Orthodox royal family of Denmark. And King Frederick IX of Denmark ended up commanding Freuchen's exile in 1952. Freuchen spent the rest of his life in Alaska, where he died of a heart attack in 1957. And number 4. He was one of the 4 Danish explorers to take part in the first Thule expedition, which took place over 1,000 kilometers of inland ice in Greenland. So he's not in the ocean, just fucking down the middle, right down the middle of Greenland. And in a subsequent trek, Freuchen ended up being buried in an avalanche and credits his survival with fashioning a dagger out of his own frozen feces that he used to hack his way to freedom.
Ooh, okay.
All right, which one's the lie? The Academy Award-winning movie? The ardent socialist who escaped a concentration camp? That he was, in fact, exiled by King Frederick of Denmark? Or that he managed to escape an avalanche with a dagger made of his own poop?
Yeah, my gut says 4 because it sounds the most outwardly ridiculous, but I feel like that's a trick. So I'm going to say 3 because I'm not sure if the religious aspects of that fact jibe with what I hope is a deeply socialist and fucking, based man. So that's my vote. Answer 3.
All right, you're locking in the answer, and Mr. Iles, you are on the board.
Really? Oh, hell
You
yeah.
nailed it. He basically spent a significant portion of his life in Greenland and Alaska, primarily with the Inuit people around there. And he's just like, yes, these people have their own lives, their own religion. Why are you trying to convert them to something that they've been working with thousands of years?
But was he a missionary? Like, was he working with?
Oh, no. He was not a missionary. He was very much, like, he was a solidly, no, he's basically just considered the priest an annoyance.
This is amazing. I love this guy. I'm gonna stay up till 3 a.m. reading about this guy on Wikipedia.
Oh, please believe me, he wrote like 30 books.
Hell yeah!
And you can find a translation. It's insane.
And I knew fact one was right because I'm a bit of an Oscars. Well, my wife's a bit of an Oscars nerd, and like osmosis through her, like I'll sometimes read winners and stuff like that. And that sounded very familiar. So yeah.
All right. Let's see if you can continue your streak. All right. I'll add another category on there. You got nature, inventions, and traditions.
Let's go with inventions.
Inventions. All right. This one's only 3 statements, so, 2 truths and a lie, as previously mentioned. All right. This first one might be up your alley, Nathan. Leo Fender, founder of Fender, now absolutely best known for being one of the most popular producers of electric guitars in the world, moved the company from radio repairs to producing electric guitars because as a virtuoso jazz guitarist wanting to branch out into the burgeoning world of rock and roll, he found that there were very few options to him. As a result, he kicked in that door and made his own. All right. Statement number 2. The inventor of glow sticks actually had no idea they were used for parties. Edwin A. Chandros was a specialty in organic chemistry that worked with AT&T in a long-term research department. Because this is back in the day where it's like, hey, this guy's smart. Let's give him millions of dollars and lock him into a 20-year contract. We will give you millions of dollars. God help you if you work with anyone else.
If he only knew how many people tripping on Molly I've seen waving glow sticks around at parties. I'm sure he'd be very upset.
Oh, no. I would say, believe me. Well, his main communications breakthrough was purifying the silicon in fiber optics, which coincidentally is probably the reason we're talking now. Fiber optic cable man.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up lucking into a chemical formula that produced light when cracked in 1969. So given that the United States military was a primary consumer of AT&T research at the time, Chandros just sort of assumed that the military was his user, the main user. He just sort of, just handed off the formula, went about his life. It wasn't until, Nathan, when do you think he had this horrifying dawning realization that it wasn't just the military using glow sticks. It was people just tripping on MDMA.
I'm going to say like 1998, like peak of the house music warehouse doing drugs at parties craze.
You know what? I would say I have a solid appreciation for your logic. 2013.
Oh, man. Oh, no. I feel so bad for this guy. Aw.
Yeah, I was just saying, he found out that he used in parties and raves, and what I can only assume is just a life-altering realization.
Amazing. He must have been like on his deathbed at that point or something. Like,
oh, no, absolutely. This was very much a late-in-life realization.
You can't unring that bell.
No, you cannot. All right, statement the 3rd. Canadians are responsible for both inventing the hockey mask and the hard-cut jockstrap. The hockey mask, which has kept many a goaltender's face intact, was first worn regularly by Montreal Canadiens player Jacques Plante. He was at first mocked for wearing the mask, and his coach didn't like it because he thought it would be a distraction. But once Plante donned the mask, the Canadiens went on to an 18-game winning streak, proving players could perform just as well, if not better, without a threat of, hard rubber to the fucking teeth. And athlete and inventor Jack Cartilage of Ontario's Guelph Elastic Hosiery patented the hard-cut jockstrap, calling it the Protex, which of course meant for a solid 3 decades, hockey players were playing with their testicles protected, but not their actual face.
Interesting.
So, Nathan, 1, 2, or 3?
God, I'm very in the dark on this. What was one about again? What was the invention?
I was just going to say, I would just say Leo Fender moving from radio repairs to guitars because...
Yeah, that's, I think that's a true, I think I know that's true because he built the Stratocaster, which is the first solid body guitar. I'm going to guess number 3 because I don't think Canadians have the forethought to invent a jockstrap. Sorry, my fellow countrymen. I don't believe in us. Although as a horror fan, I'm glad the hockey masks are a thing. But so number 3, that's my guess.
All right. Unfortunately, your success rate ends here, my friend.
Dang.
Neil Fender could not play a goddamn note.
Oh, because he said he was a guitarist.
No. He thought radios were the thing. He thought guitars was like, yeah, fuck it, sure, fine, whatever, man. Just sure, cool.
I got all mixed up.
Whatever. This is a weird side. This is a weird side business. If they want to make music, sure, fine, whatever.
Man, you rolled a nat 20 on deception on that because I was like this. One of the reasons the Strat was such a big thing for rock was it wasn't hollow body, so it wouldn't feed back as much. And that's why. So yeah, god damn it, you got me, Braden.
All right, you're 1 for 1. Let's see if you can get this final one, Nathan. Are you ready?
Hit me.
All right, I'll give you 3 categories again, because nature, sports facts that have very little to do with sports, and traditions.
Traditions.
I was just going to say, believe it or not, I didn't actually get into Fiddler on the Roof.
Aw.
I know.
That's so sad.
I know. I would say with that and everything. All right. So, statement the first. In Denmark, if you are still single by your 25th birthday, people will strap you to a chair and throw cinnamon at you. If you're 30 and still haven't had any luck relationship-wise, they upgrade to pepper. In fact, being peppered is called peppersvund for a man and pebermo for a woman. This tradition stems back to a time of traveling spice salesmen. Because these men were so busy trying to get their businesses up and running, they need to go, for all intents and purposes, to the Orient to get the actual spices. I mean, their entire life was work. Therefore, they needed to be tied down and had their work thrown at them for them to realize the errors of their ways.
All right.
Number 2. In Finland, it is considered bad manners to look an unmarried woman directly in the eye if you are not intending to court them for marriage. Based on the biblical proverb from Matthew 18:9, if your eye causes you to sin, tear it out. Avoiding direct eye contact was considered the best way to avoid sin on both parts. All right. Statement the third. Starting in 1971, hunting unicorns remains a legal practice in Michigan. At Lake Superior State University in Michigan, they lay out particular questing territories and particular times of the year in which unicorn hunting remains allowed. There are bag limits of 1 unicorn per month and statements on which bait works best to attract unicorns. Virgins. If you can't find a virgin, you can use a fake one, but it's been generally considered bad pool.
Of course. How could you not know that?
Absolutely. So, Nathan, which of these 3 is the lie? The cinnamon and
once again, you have an obviously ridiculous one.
I know.
Picking me up, right?
I know, it's great. Now you're seeing the joy of this. Now you're seeing the joy of this game. For me, anyways.
I'm going to go with number 2. I think Finland's too cool to be that strict about religious stuff. So, yeah, that's my logic. I'm going with number 2.
Nathan, your confidence in Nordic countries has saved you again. Number 2, that's the lie. I won't lie to you. The lies are so much more difficult.
Just because you have your run on, like where you tell more facts about the facts. So you're just like, you're fully pulling out of your ass at that point.
Oh, no, absolutely. At this point, just like, that's an afternoon. That is now just an afternoon. It's like, I've got a bunch of facts and just each of these I've got like a dozen categories that just has in bold letters, needs a lie. So just at some point, I'll just pour myself 3 or 4 Lynchburg lemonades and just start typing.
Amazing. Hell yeah.
So Nathan, actually, you've got 3 points. So congratulations. You have done the best of all of my guests thus far. All 3 of them. All 3 of them.
Do you see what happens when you fight the warrior? Yeah.
I was just going to say, again, this is the first Ultimate Warrior impression that I think we've...
Macho madness. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. My wrestling knowledge is just right the fuck out. All right. While I'm on a roll here, Nathan, first of all, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Second of all, you have so many different things going on. We've touched on Last Gen Arcade, but, however, we have not talked about your musical endeavors. Tell us about Brain Bent.
Yeah, man. I'm in a band called Brain Bent. It's like new wave, post-punk influenced. It's like evil Devo. That's how I describe it. You know, the guys are saying whip it.
That's spectacular.
It's like if the guys are saying whip it did a bunch of whip its, and now they're writing music. And
I'm sorry. I have listened to your music. Yeah, okay. Why is that not on the Spotify descriptor?
Yeah, well, we try not to call too much attention to it because then people would call us hack frauds because like we wear the outfits and everything. But yeah, it's dancey
fair.
and it's weird and it's kind of post-apocalyptic. And it started. We wrote a song called "Panic" about panicking in the social media age, and then 2 months later, a global fucking pandemic hit the world. So, I mean, I'm not saying that we have, power over the universe, but I'm not saying that either.
So at the very minimum, I would just say you guys write prophetic music.
Yeah, we try. Well, it's just, like I was saying earlier, it can be a depressing world, and the band is kind of a good way to deal with that. And yeah, all our music's on, if you search Brain Bent, our first EP is called Obligatory Icebreaker. It's on Apple Music. It's on Spotify. If you could go to Bandcamp and pay for it, that would be awesome. But I understand not everyone does that. That's cool. We work very hard. If you could please pay musicians and artists in general, that would be awesome. But, obviously that's not everyone's going to do that. And that's cool.
They work hard, pay them money.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that. And then the podcast. And that's my shit right now, man. That's kind of my life. And I love it.
Oh, God, absolutely. I was just going to say, you've got a bunch of stuff going on. It's solidly appreciated that you take the time to come here.
Yeah, man, I had a lot of fun. And we, dear listener, check out Last Gen Arcade because we are going to have Braden on before the end of this year. It's going to we've talked about it. It's going to happen.
Oh, solidly. I was just going to say solidly invested. And actually, pretty much both of the potential games are things that I actually have pretty much hard coded in my brain.
Yeah.
Like I was just going to say, I'm not going to spoil which ones they are, but I'm real excited.
Yeah,
I'm real excited.
We had a quote production meeting the other day, which meant we got day drunk at a bar and talked about games we wanted to play for the year. And and people we wanted to talk to. And Braden's on that list. So check our feed. And, we're on hiatus right now, but check out our feed. As Braden mentioned earlier, we just finished a series on Duke Nukem Forever, which is one of the most hateful, misogynistic video games I've ever played in my life. So,
but he has finished it.
I beat that game. That is my most shameful achievement on my Xbox gamer score.
There are achievements on that. That's now stuck to that forever.
Yep.
Listeners, I highly recommend you listen to I'd say probably start with the Halo Combat Evolved because both Nathan and Will absolutely enjoy the shit out of Halo. They have positive memories related to it. And then go to Duke Nukem Forever, where you can listen to two people try and say something very nice about this game. And just, they try. Try.
Yeah, and if you're not into video games, I get it. You probably have a life and you're much cooler than me. But, I still invite you to check it out because we try and make it as conversational. Well, the idea is like you're in the room with us, drinking beers and hanging out.
I would say it's fantastic. And honestly, these are all they're all super interesting stories. Because again, these are all deep dives. Each one of them are sort of like little mini series. The first of which is just like how these things got made. And these are uniformly interesting stories.
Extremely interesting stories about very sweaty developers.
Uniformly sweaty, uniformly interesting, uniformly sweaty.
We actually have had a few of them reach out to us to talk about how wrong some of my research has been, which has been amazing.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Which Will goes, oh, someone messaged saying how wrong you were. And I'm like, what? Tell them to do all the work. And he goes, he actually worked on the game we talked about. And I'm like, oh, shit.
Oh, okay. Shit. He did do all the work. I'm actually genuinely astonished. How many developers have reached out now? We can cut this last part out. I'm curious.
Like 2 or 3. One of them was for the Republic Commando series, which, to be fair, there wasn't a lot of primary sources for research.
No, absolutely.
When we talk about like a big, when we talk about like Ocarina of Time or, spoiler, we're going to do Metal Gear Solid at some point in the next year. And there's tons of sources on like those games, but some of the more niche stuff, you really got to dig to find the nitty gritty of like how it came together behind closed doors, so.
Oh, no, absolutely. I guess in Hamilton, you got to be in the room where it happened. And a lot of those people don't write books or first-hand reports.
Exactly. And we will be starting a Patreon feed. So, check it. If you Google chapspodcast.com, there's a network website there. We're on there. You can check out Will's other shows.
We can put stuff in the show notes. We will do that.
We can do
that. Yeah.
professional podcasters.
We'll talk. I would say, again, we'll talk. I've got 4,000 characters worth of stuff to fill up. I think we can put some links in there.
Amazing.
All right. Well, again, thank you so much, Nathan, for coming out. Solidly appreciated. This was so much fun.
So fun. I had a blast. Thanks for having me, and thanks, listener, for humoring me. And yeah, Braden, you rule, dude.
You're very kind.
Glad we've stayed in touch, weirdly, through all these years.
No, please. Absolutely. Likewise. All right. Well, have a good night, Explainer Nation. I will make that stick if it kills me.